everybody. Welcome back. First Home Mortgage live blog. Wanted to give a little bit of information. We've been putting a bunch of videos out every other day, posting social media, but now we have this fantastic opportunity to shoot some really great videos, give information to you guys all at once. So here it goes. We're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the pre-qual process and what it means to get pre-approved, how you go about it. We're going to do everything. I know we've talked about this, real short videos, steps along the way. We're going to put everything together today so that you know from A to Z what to be prepared for, what you need, and how it works. So I'm going to be a prospective home buyer. I am shopping for a house. I don't know where to start. Well, you can talk with an agent. Someone may refer me to an agent. I meet with them. You're going to say, hey, before I show you houses, I need you to get pre-qualified. I need to know that you can actually buy a house, or I need to know that you can afford or want the payment associated with that house you like. So they're going to refer you or me to a loan officer, or they may give you a couple names and say, give them a call, see what they can do for you. So I give my First Home Mortgage Loan Officer a call, I get on the phone, and he says, great, walks me through the process. Everything is fantastic. He tells me step by step what he's going to do, or she, and I follow through. I fill out an application online. A lot of times if I were doing it, I'm going to give them the option of I'll take all the information over the phone, or you can go ahead and fill out the application online to make it easier. So sometimes if there's two people on the loan, it helps to do it at night while you're together. You know all the information. I mean, look, right now, I don't know my wife's social security number. I can guess at it. I'm going to get it wrong. 9 times out of 9 or 10 times out of 10, I'm going to get it wrong. I got her birthday right. That's the most important part. So you want to make sure all that information is put in, submitted. I don't need to have specific dollar amounts in bank accounts. I don't need account numbers. You need to know your name, birth date, social security number, address you're living at. You need to have a 2-year history. So if you've been bouncing around and you're changing jobs and you've had multiple addresses, you're going to need to know all of them in the last 2 years. If you've had multiple jobs, you're going to need to know all the employers' names and the dates you worked there in the last 2 years. For those of you who only have one job, kudos, much easier for you and us. So that is information you'll put in the application as well. There are ways that you can have your bank information populate automatically. That's not a problem. Or once everything's submitted, you can provide bank statements and information to your loan officer or myself, and we'll put that in. Retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, anything like that, stocks that you have, all of it is helpful and helps us have a better picture of your financial situation when we apply for an approval. So if you have 6 bank accounts, I don't need every single one of them, but if you're transferring money from bank to bank to bank, we need to have all of that so that we can follow the bouncing ball. Anything that's going out of one account multiple times, or large deposits or transfers, we need to see where it's going. If it's going to a savings account, great. Your bank account's going to note that it's transferred to account ending in 1111. We need to have that statement. If it's not provided, we're going to ask you for it. So yes, there is a lot of information. Don't get frustrated. Don't get upset when we come back after you provide one thing and ask for 3 more, because if you provide us a bank statement and we see multiple bank accounts where money is being transferred and we don't have those, we're going to ask for all of them. Or if we see deposits or transfers from a person, we're going to ask for those. It might be another job. So a lot of times during the process, one thing does lead to another, especially if you're self-employed. If you are self-employed and have multiple businesses, I just had this where I got all the business for one business. I got a business account. Everything was great, pre-qualified, no problem. got the tax return, started looking at it, and this person owned or had on the tax return 6 other businesses. We need to see all of those because they are listed on the tax return. Don't need them for income necessarily, but we need to make sure that there wasn't any debts or losses to count against that person. So self-employed is very, very different. And what we'll do is go into a whole nother video on self-employed borrowers later on. So once you input the information, personal info, income, employer, retirement accounts, things like that, if you upload them, you will go ahead and hit submit. And there'll be some financial disclosures, personal information. Have you ever filed bankruptcy? Have you ever had a foreclosure? Are you borrowing money from someone? All of those will be questions you'll answer on the application by just clicking yes or no. If not completed, we'll reach out and say, hey, this was not completed. It was blank. Can you please provide us this information? Or if there's dates missing for employment, we'll ask for those. We actually have to have dates because of job gaps. If you have a job gap, we have to fill that in or document why there was a job gap. Did you quit your job because you didn't like it and took you 2 months to find another one? Were you fired? Were you laid off, due to the company going out of business? There's lots of reasons. We need to document all of those, and that can impact an approval. So first step, filling out the application. Second step, answering any questions and filling in the blanks or completing a full file with documentation. So all of that is very, very important for the process. Once we have all of that, we'll start reviewing documents, pay stubs, bank accounts, plugging in the info. We do a soft pull typically for the process, especially if we don't know when you're buying. That'll give us your credit score. That'll give us an idea of debts, monthly expenditures, things like that, which we count. We calculate your income monthly as gross. We add in all the debts from the credit report and then put in proposed loan amounts with taxes and insurance for qualifying. Once we have that, the credit score, debt ratios, loan amount, all of that are going to determine or give us an idea of what programs we can show you for financing. If you're a veteran, we're going to show you VA loans. If you're a first-time home buyer, we may show you first-time home buyer options. If your income is under certain income limits, you may qualify for USDA. So there are a potential to show you 2 to 3 or even 4 options when it comes to financing. Generally, once reviewed, I schedule a time to go over all of these numbers with the client. We'll get on a phone call, review payment, the loan programs, cash out of pocket, and then we zero in on the type of program or payment that the borrower wants. That payment will determine a sales price, which then you can give to your agent, which helps narrow the search. I don't want you looking at $800,000 houses if you want a $3,000 a month payment, unless you're planning on putting $500,000 down. So that is one of the reasons why a real estate agent will typically, after meeting you and talking with you, ask you to get pre-qualified prior to going out and looking at a list of 8 houses in the evening or on a weekend. It's very, very important that you, the consumer, know what you are expected or what is expected of you when you look at a house. We want to make sure also that the real estate agent is zeroed in on a type of loan. If you're looking at an FHA loan, you want to be very cautious about homes that are super old because of lead-based paint. So that real estate agent really has to have an idea, one, of the loan program, the sales price either you're qualified for or are comfortable with for a payment, and what is your cap? If they say, well, I'm interested in $350,000, I like that payment, but you're qualified to $400,000, she may put you on a list at $400,000 because things may be overpriced. Or if you've ever watched TV, it always helps to see, hey, this is what you could get based on your max qualifying, and this is what you want based on your payment desire. So that's going to be something, a real estate agent is interested in seeing as well. My process usually goes on hold. Once I have you pre-qualified and I go over numbers with you, I hand you back off to the real estate agent. The next step for a loan officer in the pre-qual process is once you find a house, we provide you with a pre-approval letter for your offer. If you find a house at $400,000, offer $380,000, The letter generally states $380,000 and has the property address on there. So the listing agent knows, hey, loan officers looked at this house. You're qualified based on the taxes and insurance. You're good to go. Congratulations. That is the basics of a pre-qual process. Now, pre-qual versus pre-approval. You've heard both of those, and I've seen a bunch of things based on them. There are some extra steps we can go through when you're getting a pre-approval versus a pre-qual. Pre-qual is very basic, simple. We've looked at your docs, you qualify up to this amount. Pre-approval could be diving in, doing a analysis of tax returns, doing a pre-VOE, looking at income, analyzing overtime, shift work, everything to get a better understanding of your max qualifying income, and then running it through an approval or AUS, which is an automated underwriting system, to give us an approval based on a sales price. It doesn't have a specific house necessarily. We can do that every time and give you an approval and say, yes, based on the house you just looked at, I can approve you. So there's the differences in those two. Pre-approval is much more specific, detailed, a deeper dive. Pre-qual is very basic, simple, and can be done fairly quickly. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like us, follow us. There's going to be a lot more information coming out in the future. Let us know if there's anything you want to see. We actually have a lot of different guests that will be coming in, going over different topics. So if there is anything, let us know. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.